Shanti, how are you? There are just 2 months left to complete this year of 2022. Now, if you look back at the predictions given by Nostradamus for the year 2022, we can now guess what is hold in rest for the remaining 60 days. So he has predicted nuclear bomb blast in 2022. So with the ongoing conflict between Ukraine and Russia, this prediction is more likely to happen in the near future. And also he has predicted the increase in sea level due to the melting of mountains due to the increase in the global temperature, which is also happening right now. And his next prediction is the Third World War breakout, leading to the destruction of many world countries from the world map. So we need to wait and see whether this Ukraine war may escalate to the Third World War. And he has also predicted a fireball coming from the sky and entering the ocean, causing a massive tsunami, destroying the islands and many countries. So that huge fireball may be an asteroid or a nuclear bomb, which may lead to his next prediction, which is the total darkness for 3 days in a row, leading to the stoppage of the war. And when the sun comes again after the 3 days, the world will be depleted of all these scientific inventions and we have to start life afresh from the Stone Age again. Also, he has predicted severe financial crisis, which is actually happening right now due to Ukraine war and high inflation rate. So that may lead to the death of the millions of poor people. So many people are dying due to the direct outcome of war itself. And his another prediction is human-made computers and robots, they will take full control of the human mind, which may lead to the destruction of humans from the world. So he may be pointing to the addiction of humans to mobile phones and other electric gadgets, which obviously has a serious impact on one's mental stability that may lead to him taking many wild decisions that leads to the destruction of the world. So another most deadly prediction of Nostradamus is humans will start eating other humans due to food shortage, which is quite possible because maybe it is possible in Ukraine-Russian war, where people, when they have no choice of food, they may have fed on dead people, or even they have fed on animals, which was recently reported. So it seems they have killed animals from the zoo, wild animals from the zoo, and they have fed on the dead animals. Just like Nostradamus, another famous foreteller, Baba Vanga, has predicted severe earthquakes and tsunami for the year 2022. So even recently there was a massive earthquake in Nepal, which was also felt in some places of India. And she predicts that there will be a deadly virus discovered in Siberia, which will then spread across the globe, which is yet to be seen. Maybe it will happen in the next 60 days. And she has predicted scarcity of drinking water and heavy floods. Of course, heavy floods are witnessed in several parts of the world this year, and scarcity of drinking water is also witnessed in several parts of the world, especially in Ukraine, due to the interruption in the water supply there is a heavy scarcity for drinking water, for which people are standing in lines for hours to collect water from the borewell pumps. She has also predicted the aliens entering the earth through a spaceship. This was also predicted by someone claiming himself to be a time traveler from the year 2671. He says aliens will enter the world from an asteroid that's hitting the earth, and it will start attacking humans. And what's more interesting is he has also specified the date, that is December 6 or 8, I believe, when this will happen. So most of these predictions will definitely happen, maybe not in this year, but it will definitely happen in the course of time. But what I would like to add to the Nostradamus predictions about the 3 days when there will be absolute darkness, followed by the drastic reduction of the human population, and we have to start from the Stone Age. Actually, it is not true that Stone Age is in the beginning. Actually, the Stone Age will definitely come in the end, and what was there initially was the Golden Age, because the God created this world as heaven, unlike what science is saying. We were living in golden palaces. That happened 5,000 years from now. So we were filled with all sorts of treasures, whether it is materialistic treasures like gold and diamonds, and also the spiritual treasures like the divine qualities. Just as it is impossible to stop a child from growing into a older person, it is also impossible to stop the world from descending from Golden Age to the Silver Age, to Copper Age, to Iron Age, and finally to the Stone Age. So we are currently witnessing people suffering from increase in prices on one hand, and also the severe job cuts on the other hand. And there's absolutely nothing we can do to stop them. But there is one thing we all can and we should do. Because the reason the things about the end of the world is mentioned in religious scriptures, and also it is revealed through such foretellers, is not to just know about it, but also to prepare for the end. So what is it that one should do as a preparation towards the world destruction? All religious scriptures are prepared to prepare ourselves to face the world destruction. Because though the world and everything on the world gets destroyed, there is one thing that is imperishable. That is nothing but the souls. It is the soul that controls this body. It is the soul that sees through the eyes, speaks through the mouth, performs all actions through this body. And this body is perishable. We are not that. It is by misunderstanding that we are this perishable body that we become slaves for the sensual pleasures. Thereby we start committing more and more sinful actions in order to attain sensual pleasures. So that is why God comes in the end, just 100 years before the destruction of the world, to caution us to get rid of body consciousness and to become soul conscious, because that's how we were originally when we were in heaven. And that is the reason we were blessed with wealth, health, peaceful and blissfulness for the first 2500 years. We were so rich, so beautiful, and we were surrounded by animals that love each other, and those animals include lion and tiger. That's the reason in all religious scriptures it is mentioned that lion and cow take water from the same pond at the same time, which means even animals like lion and tiger do not feed on other animals for food. Instead, they feed only on plants, and they were loving to each other. But as time passes after taking several rebirths, especially after the completion of first 2500 years, we start considering ourselves to be the bodies. But initially we considered ourselves only to be the souls, which is why we were absolutely free from any traces of these five vices: lust, anger, greed, attachment and ego, which is the main reason the heaven remains heaven for the first 2500 years. But after that, this world, which was originally heaven, turns to hell, mainly because we become body conscious. We were no longer soul conscious. While we were soul conscious in heaven, we were constantly aware of ourselves to be the soul. So not only we were aware of ourselves to be the soul, but also we were aware of others to be the soul that speaks through the mouth and sees through the eyes. And that's the reason we are blissful all the time, because blissfulness is the true nature of the soul itself. But after the completion of 2500 years, when we are no longer soul conscious, we couldn't derive happiness from within the soul, because we were not aware of us to be the souls anymore. So that is when we started depending on the external environment and the things and beings in the environment for deriving happiness. But unfortunately, we can't get happiness continuously from anything external to us. And that is the reason we end up getting frustrated, and we will still be making effort in despair to retain that happiness. In that effort, we'll end up committing more and more sinful actions, because of which we are being punished in terms of the depletion of all the treasures. That includes beauty, health, wealth, and so on. And that is the reason we end up getting more and more diseases. We end up being surrounded by neighbors and relatives that are more and more selfish in nature. And that is also the reason for the war between nations, which finally leads to the destruction of this world. But the good news is the world actually gets renewed through this destruction into the new world. So that's why this destruction happens in the end. But as I mentioned earlier, souls are imperishable. So souls will go back to the soul world from where originally it came to heaven. After leaving this body, the soul anyway has to go there. But that is why God comes. God is also a soul, which is why he is called the Supreme Soul. He is named Shiva by Hindus, Allah by Muslims, and Heavenly Godfather by Christians. God is one. He stays away from this birth and death cycle. Nonetheless, he enters this world. He enters an old man's body to give this knowledge, because he needs a body to give this knowledge to us. That's the only reason God comes. And he names the old man into whom he enters as Brahma. And he starts giving these teachings through Brahma's mouth, which is called Murli, which is available absolutely free of cost in all Brahmakumari's Raja meditation centers that's available across the globe. And it is also available in several YouTube channels and websites. I'll be giving the link of some of them in the description below this video. Please make use of it. So the essence of God's teachings is to consider ourselves to be the soul again and connect our mind to the Supreme God, Supreme Father, God Shiva, as much as possible. It is by remembering God as a point of light as much as possible that our soul gets filled with the power that is required to make us blissful from within, so that you no longer look outside for pleasure, which is actually very deceitful. So that's the essence of his teaching. The place where God resides is a golden red colored light world. So we need to remember God like a star shining in the golden red colored sky. In addition to that, we need to listen to the direct knowledge of God, which is Murli, which is available in all Brahmakumaris Rajog meditation centers, and we have to churn over the knowledge points throughout the day, so that you need to keep your mind busy only with the knowledge and with the remembrance of God, so that you give absolutely no time for you to have interest in the external world, which actually induces you into lust, anger, greed, attachment, and ego. You don't want to do that. So it is by dedicating all your time in remembrance of God, your soul gets filled with power, so that you will find yourself not attracted to the external world anymore. And that is very essential to protect yourself from performing any more sinful acts. By remembering God as much as possible, your past sins will get destroyed as well. So by listening to Murli, you will develop divine qualities gradually. So before the destruction of this world, based on the amount of effort you put to become fully soul conscious, that is going to determine the kind of status you are going to attain in the new world, which is heaven, which is also called the golden world, the golden age. So it is true, towards the end of the world, we are going to reach the stone age, where we will be deprived of all the modern technologies. At the same time, there will be some island like place within India where heaven is formed. But residents of heaven are completely not aware of what's happening around them. Likewise, the residents of hell, where we are now, have no idea the heaven is actually formed somewhere in the earth. But if you make sincere effort to become soul conscious before any such extensive damage happens, then it is more likely that you will leave this body to take birth in heaven. So, because if you have destroyed all your sins by yoga, which means by remembering God, then there is no need for you to undergo all the torments of the hell in the last days. So whether you are going to take this video very seriously and equip yourself to enter heaven, or you are going to turn dumb ear to the message of this video and enter the stone age, is quite up to you. Om Shanti. Thanks for watching.